It all began a few months ago, during what I thought would be an ordinary weekend. I'm 22, recently graduated from college, and living at home to save money while starting my career as a freelance graphic designer. My gaming PC wasn't just a hobby, it was an essential part of my work. I built it myself with months of savings and hours of research. It wasn't just a machine to me, it was a part of my livelihood, honestly, my escape from reality when things got tough. Growing up, I've always had a rocky relationship with my parents. My younger sister, Emma, was the golden child. Don't get me wrong, I love her, but the favoritism was blatant. If she needed new clothes, my parents would splurge on her without a second thought. Meanwhile, I'd be told to earn my wants or settle for hand-me-downs. It hurt, but I learned to live with it. I thought, maybe, as I grew older, things would even out. Spoiler alert, they didn't. One Friday evening, I came home from running errands to find my desk eerily empty. My dual monitors, custom-built CPU, and peripherals gone. At first, I thought we had been robbed. Panicking, I ran to my parents, who were casually watching TV. When I asked what happened, my mom glanced at me and said, "Oh, we sold it." Emma needed money for her shopping trip this weekend. For a moment, I thought she was joking, but the look on her face told me otherwise. I felt my stomach drop. "You what?" I managed to choke out. "You heard me. Emma's senior prom is coming up, and she needed a dress, shoes, and accessories. You're always glued to that thing anyway. We figured it wouldn't hurt to let it go." My dad chimed in, "You're always saying you need to upgrade your PC eventually. Look at it as a chance to start fresh." The audacity. They sold a $3,000 gaming rig that I built with my own money to fund my sister's shopping spree? My blood was boiling. "Do you have any idea how much that PC was worth? How much of my work was stored on it?" I snapped. Mom rolled her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic. It's just a computer. Emma's prom is a once-in-a-lifetime event." I was speechless. No amount of yelling or reasoning could undo what they had done. They had already sold it to a neighbor for a fraction of its worth, $500, according to my sister, and used the money to fund a weekend of shopping. That night, I lay awake in my room, staring at the empty desk where my PC once stood. It wasn't just about the computer, it was about the principle. My parents had zero respect for me, my property, or my boundaries. They had always put Emma's wants above my needs, but this was the last straw. The next morning, I made a decision. If they didn't respect me as an adult, I would no longer live under their roof. I'd been saving up to move out eventually, but this accelerated my timeline. I packed up my clothes, essentials, and the little money I had in savings. By Sunday afternoon, I was loading my car. When my parents saw me packing, they seemed more annoyed than concerned. "Where do you think you're going?" my mom asked. "Away from here," I replied coldly. "Since my needs don't matter in this house, I'll find somewhere they do." They tried to guilt-trip me. My mom brought up all the sacrifices they'd made for me growing up. My dad said I was being selfish for leaving over just a computer. Emma even had the nerve to say, "It's not a big deal. You can always buy another one." But I'd made up my mind. "It's not about the computer," I said. "It's about the disrespect. You sold something that wasn't yours to sell, something I worked hard for, and you didn't even care how it affected me. I'm done." I moved into a tiny studio apartment the next day. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I didn't have a lot of furniture or even a bed frame, but I had my freedom and peace of mind. My first few weeks were tough. I had to hustle harder than ever to replace my PC and rebuild my portfolio from scratch. But slowly, things started falling into place. I found a supportive community of friends who understood and appreciated me. I learned to cook, budget, and manage my time better. Most importantly, I started therapy to work through the years of resentment and neglect I'd experienced at home. My parents tried reaching out a few times, mostly to criticize my decision to leave and demand I come back and apologize. I ignored them. Emma, predictably, sent me photos of her prom night, her dress and accessories. I blocked her. Fast forward 6 months, and I'm in a much better place. My freelancing career is thriving, and I've even started streaming as a side hustle. My new PC is better than the one my parents sold, and I've backed up my work in multiple locations to ensure I never lose it again. As for my family, I've gone no contact. It's painful, but I've come to realize that blood ties don't excuse toxic behavior. If they can't respect me as an individual, they don't deserve a place in my life. Looking back, moving out was one of the hardest but most rewarding decisions I've ever made. It taught me the value of independence and the importance of setting boundaries. I've learned that sometimes, the family you choose is more important than the family you're born into. If anyone reading this feels trapped in a similar situation, know this: you deserve respect, and it's okay to walk away from people who refuse to give it to you, even if they're family.